Hey guys, caring at your job is the worst thing you can do. Let me explain. So we all want to do a great job at our work. We all want to perform. We all want to grow. We all want to excel. We all want to make the most of our current place of employment, right? But the problem resides in caring too much to the point where we lose ourselves in the process of serving our employer. And what do I mean when I say we lose ourselves? We lose our identity. We lose our focus for what we're doing, what we want to do, what we want to accomplish outside of our job, right? Because unfortunately speaking, your job will never pay you what you're worth, right? You could put in the most amount of hours, the most amount of effort, the most amount of time and energy, and express that, through asking for better training, better positions, right? Promotions, raises, doesn't matter. But they could still overlook you. They could still pick somebody else. And here's the thing. Let's say you do get growth in a company, which is, again, what we all desire deep down. Whether, I wouldn't even say growth in a company. We just desire growth in general, right? Whether it's with our own form of work or within a company. But the issue resides in us placing so much of our identity on that outcome, on that expectation. And I'm gonna kind of make this analogous to a relationship or a potential relationship, right? Like when you're, as a guy, right, when you're chasing a woman, when you're constantly showing that you care so much when you just met her, right? And she's obviously, maybe she might have been attracted to you in the beginning, but now she's sort of turned off because you came on too strong. You're showing too much like of a boyfriend vibe, and you feel, and she can sense that she's the only thing, or she's too important to you, like meaning like, your purpose isn't as important, or you don't have other women, right? A combination of those two things. That turns her off, and that obviously fucks up the potential for you to date her and, have romantic encounter, right? So in the same way, when you put all of your effort into a job, when you put all of your energy, all of your mental, your mental energy into a job as well, right? It's not to say that that's bad, but in the event that you have an expectation, right? It's in the event that you want something out of it, where you're willing to put in the effort, but only if you get a certain result, only if you get a certain outcome. And there's nothing wrong with wanting an outcome, but at the expense of losing yourself and losing your peace of mind over it, that's where you need to draw the line, right? So instead, what I offer and what I think is a better approach and a better way of going about things is do the best you can at your job, right? You don't want to go to work and just not do anything and just not care at all and just be a slapdick and bullshit, right? I don't think that that's also a feasible approach or way of going about things. But you go in, you do what you need to do, right? You do what the job asks you to do, and you don't overdo it, right? You don't stay behind, you don't cover extra shifts, right? You don't do anything that can't benefit you, that is extra, right? Like, and again, this doesn't sound this sounds kind of counterintuitive to what most people tell you, right? Because you're told what? Work hard, show up on time, do everything right. But what if I told you that it's actually a better idea? Wouldn't you want to let's say you want to get promoted, you want to rise up and make more money, right? Wouldn't it be a better idea if you could get the job title with doing less? I don't know. I'm not trying to say that you should take shortcuts. I'm not trying to promote an idea of, being lazy and just trying to finesse your way to a position. But I'm being practical when I say that. I think it's better for you to get the position, right? If you want it, to get by on less, right? Why have to show out? Why have to show off, right? And oftentimes, this brings me to my next point. When you try to show off at work, or not show off, but when you try to do it all, or you try to make a name for yourself, or you want to do more, right? People can sense that. People can sense that, like, damn, like, is this dude here to impress us? Is this guy here, like, what is he doing all this work for, right? And that's oftentimes what people perceive it as, right? Unfortunately speaking, right? Like, you'd think your employer would pat you on the back and want to just come, tag along with you and guide you through whatever process your learning and just encourage you, right? But it's actually the opposite, right? Because unfortunately, and again, this is due to most people's, I don't know what it is. Most people are just mentally ill, right? I've just come to the point, most people have either traumatized, they have mental illness, they have some form of psychological issue where when you do something, when you are an overachiever, or you go the extra mile, or you do something that would entail that you're trying to do a good job and really do a lot for the company, people see it as a threat for some reason. And I never understood why, and I still don't understand why to this day, why people see it as a threat, right? You're literally doing what the company wants and more, right? You're literally benefiting their business. So why would they hate that, right? But again, I think I've figured it out, or I have some idea where it's just, they look at it like, hey, why is this person trying to impress us? Or if it's not that, it's this person is probably doing this so that they can rise up the ranks. But some people think, damn, what if this person tries to outshine me? What if this person makes me look bad, right? Because if you're in the same, let's say you're working alongside another manager, right? That person could feel threatened because they're like, oh shit, this guy's doing all this extra work, damn, he might outshine me. He might make me look bad by him doing all the work, right? Or him going the extra mile. So, that's really what I think it is as far as, people's perception of you doing all the extra work and going the extra mile. So, that's not to say you shouldn't take overtime if it's given to you, right? But you want to be very, very reserved with what you give to other people, what you give to corporations, what you give to people who really, quite honestly, don't care about you and don't know you, right? Let's face it, most people higher up in corporate, you might pass their mind once a week. Oh, hey, I heard about that guy. He's doing well, and then that's it. They don't care about you. It's not that they don't care about you, they're not thinking about you, right? Because most people say, oh, they don't, your employer doesn't care. It's not that their employer doesn't care. They're not even thinking about you. You don't even pass it. You don't even cross a thought in their mind, come across as a thought in their mind. They're thinking about what they need to do. They're thinking about what's going on in their life. They're thinking about how they can use, the only way they might think of you is how I can use this person to benefit us. That's it. They're not thinking of you. They're not thinking of a way to benefit. How can we benefit this person? They're thinking about how can we use this person to benefit us. So when you realize that that's pretty much the whole corporate game in a nutshell, right? As far as how how companies utilize and operate with their employees, then you can understand why, people are so against going the extra mile and doing so much for people that just use them to benefit them when they need them, right? And again, this is a perfect, what brings another perfect example of this is, for example, overtime, right? Let's say, for example, right, you need to work a shift and someone called off or someone can't make it, whatever. And the shift, if you were to cover, let's say they can't find anyone else, right? You're the only person they can find. They've tried, right? And you're the only person, maybe it's a weekend day and really no one's trying to come into work and you show up, right? Well, and they allow you to get overtime. Well, in some cases, right? If you're the highest paid employee, in most cases, they wouldn't give you that shift if they had another person that they could pay less, right? If they could pay less as far as overtime goes, a person who makes less of an hourly rate than you do. So with that knowledge, right, you can realize that most people are, and it goes with the labor budget, it goes with overtime, it goes with promotions, it goes with everything. It applies to everything. So again, what do I always talk about on this channel? Do what you have to do and clock out. That's it. And when you clock out, what do? You invest in yourself. You spend time learning about things that you want to learn about. You spend time working on things that are going to benefit you personally, not anyone else, not a fucking corporation. You work on things that benefit you, right? You always put yourself first in any environment. You put yourself first in a corporate environment. You put yourself first in a relationship, or if you're courting a girl, you put yourself first. You always put yourself first, right? Because I'll tell you what, no one is going to care as much about you as you will about yourself. And once you realize that, then you're free, because now you don't have this weird, you don't have this fixation or expectation on things being a certain way. and you don't ponder and worry and question as much why certain things, why things are the way they are in a corporate environment. So I kind of just want to make this video to save you guys a lot of headaches that you'll run into, you know, dealing with certain people, especially as far as like bosses go and higher ups and, you know, employers, and put the ball back in your court, put the power back in yourself, right? Because again, like, you know, no one's going to do shit for you. No one's going to knock on your door. No one's going to wake you up, you know, in the morning and get your ass up. And also, you know, when you clock out, no one's going to tell you, hey man, make sure you work on your business, or hey, make sure you study what you're studying when you go home, right? No one's telling you that. No one cares. Everyone's focused again, and it's not so much of a bad thing, right? But everyone's focused on themselves. They're focused on the bottom line, especially in a corporation. So remember, do what you need to do. That's not to say that you don't do anything. That's not to say that you don't bullshit. That's not also to say that you just develop a pessimistic, negative attitude and just complain and be a bitch all day. But it's just to say that you go in and you're kind of aloof. You kind of just don't care. You're just like, all right, I'm here, do this and go. That's it. Clock in, clock out. That's the mentality, right? We don't overdo things over here, right? We don't overdo things. We don't overdo things for employers who really don't even think about us that much, right? You need to overdo it. If anything, you should be overdoing it on yourself. You should be overdoing work that can benefit you, that you can scale, whether it's learning about trading, whether it's your side hustle, whatever the case is, whatever you're working on, or whatever career could have a super high, a really high gap for a salary, right? That's what you should be focused on, not some fucking job that you're working just to pay bills, right? Don't focus on that, right? Put the ball back in your court, do what you need to do, and go home and execute your plan. You have no other choice. It's either you do that or you stay a slave, right? And I don't want you guys to be in that situation, especially long term. So anyways, guys, that's it. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe. If you guys have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below. And as always, I will talk to you guys soon. Peace.